reinforce trust in our riders, and safeguard the livelihoods of our operators and our staff. First, I want to take note of everyone that's here with me today. I'm joined by law enforcement leadership, our new Multnomah County District Attorney, Nathan Vasquez. Thank you for being here with us today, here on your second day overseeing the DA's office. Thank you. Multnomah County Sheriff Nicole Marcy O'Donnell, thank you for being here with us today. Transit Police Captain Matt Jordan, thank you for being here with us as well. Also, we have other members of the District Attorney's Office who are here and that are critical to the efforts to hold people accountable for their actions and increase security at TriMet. Deputy District Attorney Julian Samuels is here with us, and Brian Hogan, who's with us today. And then the head of the DA Investigators Unit, Pete Simpson, who's here with us. Thank you for your efforts. With TriMet, I want to introduce our Chief Operating Officer, Bonnie Todd, who's here with us, and also our TriMet Executive Director, Andrew Wilson, who's here with us there. He leads our safety and security coordination with our partners and our staff. TriMet partnership with Multnomah County and other law enforcement partners is critical to our mission. And I want to repeat that, very critical. Our partnership is critical to our mission to provide transit service that is safe and reliable. Senate Bill 1553 helps address the widespread use of drugs throughout our community that extends on and other fellow transit agencies in Oregon. The Amalgamated Transit Union Local 757 and legislators who actively worked to get it passed and those who support it. I specifically want to thank State Senator Kate Lieber for sponsoring the legislation, and also Governor Tina Kotek for signing it into law. What sets this drug law apart from others is its focus on public transit. And I want to state that again. What sets the law, this drug law, apart from others is its focus on public transit. We believe public transit merits distinct treatment due to the greater harm on board a transit vehicle drug use causes, as you cannot simply get up and move away from it. So let me be very clear, drug use has always been against our rules here at TriMet, but however, when possession of small amounts of hard drugs was decriminalized in 2020, it resulted in unclear direction around the legal enforcement of these rules. The changes passed in the last legislative session made it clear drugs on public transit vehicles now face stiff penalties, and those who qualify will have a pathway to recovery through state-funded treatment and supervision. Public transit must feel safe and accessible for everyone, and that includes families that use public transit, essential workers that use transit, high school students, individuals with disabilities, and other Oregonians who depend on transit as a lifeline to jobs, education, and health care. At TriMet, we welcome the change in drug laws, as they will help make areas on and around our transit system safe. The prosecution of Senate Bill 1553 will be left to our partners in law enforcement. And with that, I would like to turn it over to our new Multnomah County District Attorney, Nathan Vasquez.
Well, first I want to say thank you so much for including me and having me here today. It is an honor to come forward on my second day in office to deliver this message loud and clear. Our transit system needs and must be safe for all, for our families, for our children, for our neighbors. And to that end, I will be very clear. If individuals are caught breaking this law, they will be prosecuted, period. This office is dedicated to the public and to keeping the public safe. This law is critical to making sure that we are ensuring that our children can get to school, as we heard, that our family members can get to the doctor's office, people can get to work every day. And so my office has dedicated numerous attorneys to the TriMet system to make sure that we are doing everything we can to be a part of making this community a safe, healthy, and welcoming environment. You will hear from other leaders, and I will be happy to answer your questions, but the message should be loud and clear. If this law is broken, my office will prosecute it, period. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Nicole Morrissey O'Donnell, Multnomah County Sheriff. Thank you, District Attorney Vasquez. I look forward to working with you, your office, and TriMet to continue to improve safety on our transit system. I would also like to thank TriMet for advancing Senate Bill 1553, which provides law enforcement a valuable tool to address drug use on our transit system and in our community. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office leads the Transit Police Division, which is a task force-type model comprised of police officers focused on transit safety across the Tri-County area. That includes providing a safety presence on trains, buses, and platforms, responding to emergency calls for service, and investigating criminal activity. Our mission is to ensure the safety of TriMet operators, those utilizing the transit system, and our broader community. We recognize also that collaboration has been key, and the passing of Senate Bill 1553 and the daily operations of the Transit Police Division demonstrate the positive impacts of our partnerships. The collaborative work between TriMet, law enforcement, lawmakers, and advocates reinforces that drug use will not be tolerated on public transit, and those individuals engaging in this behavior will be held accountable. The combined effort from multiple partners is just one example of how collaboration can help solve the public safety challenges in our community. Public involvement is also critical in maintaining our safety in our community. TriMet's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week security hotline is available to report illegal or disruptive behavior in real time. When incidents are reported, the nearest security team or a police officer can respond when a police intervention is necessary. We are committed to continuing to work with TriMet, the District Attorney's Office, and all of our partners to ensure a safe transit system for everyone. I appreciate everyone being here and taking this time today, and I'll turn it back over to General Manager Sam Dessou.
While it's law enforcement that makes arrests for illegal drug use and other crime, and the DA's office that prosecutes interfering with public transit offenses, we at TriMet continue expanding the personnel who provide a safety and security presence on our system. We have more safety and security officers than ever before who patrol our system every day. Dispatchers in our Security Operations Center coordinating their response incidents reported by frontline staff and customers. And we really appreciate those who feel a sense of ownership in public transit and really help us by reporting issues that they see. So just call or text 503-238-RIDE, R-I-D-E, 503-238-RIDE. If you see an issue, any illegal behavior, including drug use on the system, please call us. We also have a blue light security phones at some of our MAX platforms to report issues at the press of a button. Our Security Operations Center is staffed 24 hours a day. To our riders, our employees who serve as eyes and ears on our system, our lawmakers and others who support Senate Bill 1553, and our law enforcement partners who are here with us today, thank you for valuing public transit. So with that, I'll turn things over to our Director of Communications, Roberta Allstadt.
So I'm here to facilitate some Q&A if anybody has any questions. Emily?
Yeah, so I understand that transit police are going to be the arresting agency. Is there someone that can just explain how they prepare to enforce this law and like maybe the protocol surrounding, when someone gets caught, what happens next? And then at what point do outside agencies get involved?
Sheriff? Or no?
Yes, so outside agencies could be involved when transit police is not available to take an emergency call for service where the jurisdiction, any jurisdiction police will take those emergency calls for service. And the preparation is being clear about the law and using this as another investigative tool to address our drug crisis in our community.
And then the sheriff's office oversees
The Sheriff's Office oversees the
transit police?
Transit Police Division, which is comprised of approximately 21 deputy sheriffs and police officers. That is recognizing that other jurisdictions, anywhere that transit lines are running, the local jurisdiction of that area will be providing emergency services. And that is how that has been working as we have stepped into this leadership role and managed the Transit Police Division and those working under our command.
And then have you increased staffing and training? Can you talk about that?
We have not increased staffing in our training unit. We have worked with our leadership in transit to ensure that there are legislative updates and they understand the law and how to use this as a tool to hold people accountable on our transit system.
Just to reiterate a bit of what the sheriff said, Transit Police, TriMet contracts, has a partnership with Multnomah County for the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office to be the law enforcement lead for Transit Police, and we definitely very much appreciate that. Any?
Deflection's also an option here if someone is eligible, right?
Nathan will take that.
I'm happy to talk about deflection. I just want to take a quick moment and say that this is a full partnership with the Sheriff's Office, with the District Attorney's Office, with TriMet, and all the way in, including the operators and workers of TriMet. This effort is to make sure our system is safe and accountable. But when we talk about deflection, that's different. What we're talking about are individuals that are in possession of a controlled substance. And yes, my office, the Sheriff's Office, we're all dedicated to that effort. But here today, what we're talking about are people that are using these controlled substances, that are releasing really a noxious and dangerous substance into a very oftentimes confined area, endangering people that have no desire to be anywhere near that, including children. So this office does not support those types of cases going to deflection, and quite frankly, that will be my decision.
What factors will you be looking at when deciding the range of, I understand that could face up to 364 days in jail or a fine of greater than $6,000. What factors do you look at when deciding where on that scale?
Well, how it works is that individuals will come in and we will evaluate what's their history, what's going on with them. Certainly, we want to hold them accountable first and foremost. From there, obviously, this is probably going to be someone that's suffering from substance abuse disorder. Certainly, we're going to want to try to connect them with treatment resources. We want to make sure that we are doing the things we can to get long-term benefit for that individual and for the community. But in no way is this office, and so there's a whole host of tools available to us, and we'll look at all of those tools, and we'll adapt that for each individual, but they will be held accountable. So they will not have a choice. That will be my decision. So this particular law, so we're clear, is different than when we talk about the deflection ones. Deflection, what we're talking about is someone that maybe is holding in their hand a small amount of fentanyl, maybe some other substances. What we're talking about today and under this law is someone that is really smoking and causing those drugs to go in airborne and endanger individuals around them. And so this, to be clear, is very different. And because and in recognition of that danger that it causes to the public, these cases will not be deflection eligible.
I have another law enforcement question. Obviously, officers are not used to arresting for this over the past couple of years. This is kind of a big change overnight. I mean, are there going to be additional officers or more surveillance on board? What can people expect?
Do you want to take that, or Matt, Andrew?
I also just want to reiterate that this is a partnership. All of us have talked about that with our security teams that work for TriMet, with our collaboration with law enforcement. Yes, we are prepared when there's a situation that we are called into. Yes, we are prepared to hold people accountable for this offense. And it is conjunction with the recent changes in legislation around our drug laws as well.
Andrew, if I could have you come up. TriMet actually has more than 8,000 security cameras on our system, and I think that's an important thing to speak to.
Yeah, as Sam mentioned, safety is our highest priority here at TriMet, and you can see that in the partnerships that we've built to ensure that our riders have a safe and comfortable experience. We have made huge investments in things like our surveillance camera capability, which will be a part of enforcing laws like this going forward as we look to hold people accountable when they do break the law. We have a security operations center, which was mentioned earlier, which can be called into via 238 Ride or our blue light phones. It's important to recognize that that 24-hour center actually has capability to view about 3,000 of those cameras in real time out there on the system. And so if you have this incident occur out there, you make a phone call to the Security Operations Center, they may be able to pull that up directly and monitor that event and dispatch law enforcement personnel or ask for that to be dispatched, as well as our more than 475 security personnel that are working in our department as well. And so a lot more capabilities, and this is about holding people accountable and creating a safe zone for all of us to be able to ride a good, healthy public transit system here in Portland.
Poor value. And we are here to protect people from drugs, illegal drugs, being brought onto our system. So a parent that's bringing a child onto the system, I want to make sure we protect that child from not being in smoke or fumes of any of those drugs to create harm. And we're going to work with our partnerships to make sure that that doesn't come on our transit systems at all.
It also seems like they're not doing anything to help those suffering from a terrible illness, and they're not being offered deflection.
We are. Andrew, why don't you come talk a little bit about,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say that part of that investment, that incredible amount of investment that we've made in the Safety and Security Department also includes things like our safety response team, which is out there addressing some of the issues, whether it be mental health issues, houselessness issues, as well as drug addiction. They're out there, and we've made a huge investment and developed some good partnerships in our area to connect people to do that outreach capability. In fact, not only are they working here at TriMet, but they're working in the community. They're out at bus shelters. They're working in the community. So TriMet does understand the need, but I think Sam makes a really good point in the sense that we also have a need to ensure a safe place where you can bring your children and others without ingesting fumes from somebody that's sitting with you in an enclosed space. And so that's what this law and this partnership meeting is about today, is to ensure that we're creating that safe transit zone. So many of our riders are dependent upon our system for all kinds of daily needs, and we need to make sure that's a safe space for them, particularly some of the most vulnerable in our community. So we are there. We are empathetic to the needs on the streets of Portland right now, and that's why we have additional resources like the Safety Response Team. But we also need to hold folks that are putting us all in danger accountable as well.
Nathan, I'm not sure if you can talk to this, but an important part of this bill, Senate Bill 1553, as TriMet was involved in it, was that this would be a drug-designated misdemeanor, and so people may qualify for state funding treatment.
So to be clear, just because someone doesn't go into the deflection program in no way means that they're not going to have access to treatment resources through the probation. This is an opportunity actually where they're going to get greater attention and greater supervision and more opportunities at being in treatment, other resources. So in a lot of ways, the individual that's suffering from substance abuse disorder will get more attention than they would through the deflection program. So it is a heightened level of supervision that you're going to receive, an individual is going to receive through this.
Has there been any arrests since January 1st? And surely people have been using since January 1st on transit trains and buses.
Understand, it's been 5 to 7 days, and there has not been an arrest at this point.
How many instances of drug usage has been reported on average each month?
And it's not confirmed.
Yeah. So this is a struggle for TriMet, and I think you guys have seen that. We have seen inhalation incidents, or whatever we want to call the use of drugs on the system. We've seen those decline. We do track that. This is not something that happens all the time, but when it does, we want to have a swift response to that when it does occur. What I'd say is a lot of the incidents that involve this type of behavior are folks that have done this before or do this on a regular basis. And what today is about is holding those folks responsible using things like our video surveillance system and these increased tools like Senate Bill 1553 and our partnerships. We really have a great partnership with our district attorney's office. We have two deputy district attorneys that actually work out of the public safety office here at TriMet. So we're going to be able to work with those offenders and make sure that they're being held accountable so we can have that safe transit zone. But this law did go into place on the 1st, and part of this is going to be increasing investing will be occurring over this next year, and that's what this is about, is publicizing that. But it has been 5 days, and those incidents aren't happening all the time on the system. But when they do, we now have the capabilities and the tools to address them, and that's what this is about.
And, you know, when it comes to a report of potential drug use on board, we will stop a vehicle to open up the doors to get some fresh air in, and people can walk away at that point, which does often happen. But as Andrew said, this can attest to that. TriMet security camera video has been critical in holding people accountable.
So do you track people down? You watch this video camera and try to find who they were? I mean,
Yeah, I think this is a little bit outside of my scope, but is somebody that is known on the system, then yes, we do work with our transit police, and they will put out requests for, what do you call those, BOLOs or something like that, be on the lookouts for.
This is a question for Vasquez. I mean, we've seen in the past people getting arrested for drugs, and then they'll spend a day or two in jail. They'll be released. It's been a pattern now. We know that the jail has issues with capacity. The deflection program isn't complete enough to take on all these people that are eligible. I mean, how for people watching this who don't feel like there's real risk here, what do you say to them?
Well, first of all, there was a couple different layers to that. These aren't going to go into deflection. There is the opportunity to arrest individuals, hold them accountable. They do face a Class A misdemeanor up to a year in jail. There are lots of opportunities to hold individuals accountable, whether that's putting them on probation, requiring that they go through treatment. This is going to be certainly what you're going to hear from this office is that we're going to be dedicated to this work. We're going to be dedicated to being compassionate but holding people accountable. And so that's what you're going to hear consistently from this office. And I know that the sheriff is dedicated to the same mission. Certainly, we've recently heard that the chair has stepped forward and made a significant contribution in funds available to the sheriff's office to help improve things like staffing around the jail. It's something that as I begin my term and push forward, I will be continuing to push to see how our system can work better, improve to serve this community.
And with that, I'm sorry, folks, we need to wrap up. Some folks here have another meeting to go to. So appreciate everyone coming out. Appreciate you all for being here. You can go ahead and head out.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. Totally appreciate the coverage.